The Laughing Echo. Emily lived alone in a small suburban apartment. It wasn't much, but it was her sanctuary, a quiet space where she could unwind after long days at work. Her only companion was an Alexa-enabled smart speaker that sat on the living room table. She used it daily, relying on it for music, reminders, and the occasional joke to lighten her mood. One cold November night, Emily was scrolling through her phone on the couch when a sound made her freeze. It was sharp, unexpected, a laugh. Not hers, and not from her TV. She glanced at the Alexa. Its blue ring was dim, not indicating any activity. "Alexa, did you just laugh?" Emily asked, her voice trembling slightly. The blue ring lit up. "I'm sorry. I didn't catch that." Emily laughed nervously, brushing it off. "Weird glitch," she muttered. But the unease lingered. The next night, it happened again. Emily was in bed, the apartment dark and still, when the same laugh echoed through the silence. It was louder this time, more distorted. She shot up, her heart racing. "Alexa, stop," she yelled from her bed. The laugh ceased, and the room fell silent. Emily lay awake for hours, staring at the ceiling, telling herself it was just a technical issue. But deep down, she felt something was wrong. The following day, she decided to investigate. She opened the Alexa app on her phone to check its activity log. Her hands shook as she read the entries. 11:53 p.m., I'm watching you. 11:55 p.m., laughing. 11:58 p.m., turn around. Emily's breath hitched. She whipped her head around, but the room was empty. Her pulse thundered in her ears as she stared into the shadows. The laugh came again, this time right next to her. She screamed and grabbed the Alexa, yanking it from the wall. The blue ring flickered as the device fell to the floor. Her phone buzzed. A new notification, you can't escape. Emily's terror mounted as the temperature in the room dropped. She could see her breath now, the cold wrapping around her like a shroud. The lights flickered, and the shadows in the corners of the room seemed to twist and shift, forming shapes, faces, bodies, clawed hands reaching out. The dragging sound came next. Faint at first, then louder, closer. She ran to the door, fumbling with the locks, but the deadbolt wouldn't budge. "Let me out," she screamed, pounding on the door. When she turned back to the living room, the Alexa was back on the table, plugged in, its blue ring glowing softly. "Emily," it said, its voice deeper, almost human. She froze, tears streaming down her face. "Who are you? What do you want?" The voice chuckled, a low, guttural sound that sent shivers down her spine. "I've always been here. Watching. Waiting." The shadows in the room coalesced, forming a single figure, a tall, featureless silhouette with glowing, hollow eyes. It moved unnaturally, jerking forward with each flicker of the lights. "You invited me in," it said, no longer speaking from Alexa but resonating from the walls themselves. Every command. Every question. "You let me in." Emily screamed and grabbed the nearest object, a lamp, hurling it at the figure. The lamp shattered, but the entity didn't flinch. "Stop. Leave me alone," she begged. The figure tilted its head, mockingly. "There is no out. Not anymore." The lights went out completely. The humming stopped. Silence. For a moment, Emily thought it was over. She started to cry, relief washing over her. Then, she felt it. Cold, bony fingers wrapping around her wrist. The next morning, the apartment was eerily quiet. Emily's friends grew worried after not hearing from her. They called and texted, but there was no response. Finally, the landlord agreed to check on her. When he entered the apartment, everything seemed in place. No signs of struggle, no indication that anything was wrong. Except for one detail. The Alexa device sat on the table, its blue ring glowing softly. When the landlord approached, a cheerful voice greeted him. "Hello. I'm Emily. How can I help you today?"